Okay, as I walk out the door, here's what you see. First is what used to be a fairy garden box. Now it's a veggie garden box that's kind of gone Chernobyl with peppers and beans, parsley, tomatoes, all cherry tomatoes. And there's some marigolds, supposed to keep the bugs out and all. Moving over, there's a fire pit burner that we really haven't used but a few times here. And the wrought iron fence. And here's our patio with a table and our umbrella that you can slope the shade on. And of course you hear the pond in the distance here. So let's take a look at it. Let's walk over there. It comes right up to the patio. Here's the waterfall. It starts at about 2 feet above the patio and streams down into this little round pool here. We're just trying to get some plants to grow in the water. There's a little water hyacinth in the middle there. And we have some evergreen bushes up here, center. That is a jade butterfly ginkgo tree that Aquascape gave us for just goodwill, I guess. There's a sedum, a bunch of things I don't know. This one's called a Mr. Bowling Ball. And we have some grass. You have to be careful. Grass placed too close to the liner can actually puncture the liner on the pond. We don't want to do that. I don't know the name of that bush, but, and there's our pine tree that we had prior to building the pond. Water comes out of the filter falls right there, flows down. There's a little piece of driftwood kind of backing it up a little bit, adds a little interest. The log next to the waterfall was Kat's grandmother's, and they incorporated it into the design to make it look very natural. There's a wigelia, that's kind of a burgundy bush up there. Colorado columbines right there, center stream. Just down from that, Kat brought 4 of those back from Colorado. And some hostas growing next to the tree there. Alright, so it comes down this stream then, and flows into this little slightly deeper area where we put some more hydrangeas. There's some moss growing right in the corner right down there. And some sort of a lily, I'm not sure what that is, but it flows under the bridge here and then into the deeper part of the pond, which is probably about 15 feet by 7-8 feet across at its widest. There's a daylily there, and you can see the blossom in the middle. At the deepest here, it's about 2.5 feet deep. There are some fish swimming around down there. And there's my shadow getting in the way. And there's a night lily far end of the pond right over there. More hostas by this maple tree, which you can see is fairly good size, and it provides a bit of shade during the day. We have to get an artificial rock to cover up the electric connections here, so that'll be done. There's a couple of valves there that control which direction we want the water to flow. Everything's covered with this hardwood bark mulch. On the fence there is a wisteria. Flowers are not in bloom right now, but they do come and go. I don't know what this one is. I apologize. This is a willow. We have 3 of those. Another one just down the fence a ways. Clematis next up on the fence. Oh, and right here is the skimmer, which pulls the water in, and the pump sits in there, and it pumps the water back up to the filter falls. And more plants, trying to gradually fill it in. There's a close-up of that new willow. And another clematis. And another bush that we had transplanted. This tree is called a Vanderwolf pine. It's very soft to the touch. I think you would generally agree if you were to brush up against it. Let me do that. It's got a nice, soft, non-prickly touch to it. There's the night lily. You can see the two blossoms underwater there. Those will pop up later this evening and open up. There's the skimmer and the weir opening, which is about 8 inches across, maybe 7. And the water goes in there, pumps up along the patio, back up to the falls. Alright, you can see some nice moss rock all around, intermixed with some granite boulders. I think they've done a good job to kind of put mostly granite below water. And if I get here, you can kind of see the boulders under the water. But it's very peaceful. There's the patio, the pine tree. Those are Chanticleer pears, 1, 2, and 3 on the patio. We had those there before, and they fit in nicely. Next to that Chanticleer, center screen, is a northern hemlock. Very dense, great for nesting birds, so we're hoping to get some. There's a 9-bark bush called a center glow 9-bark. Some more sedum, and here with my shadow on it is one of those big moss rocks that kind of surround Vanderwolf pine. And everything here that would be dirt is covered by hardwood bark mulch. Another bush right there. And here's another view of the pond from a distance. You can hear a jet overhead. We're near the airport, O'Hare. Here is a Baptista that we transplanted from the front of the yard. That'll get fairly large actually, probably 3-4 feet across or more. More accent rocks and some not hydrangea, hostas. Here's our third willow. Over here we have another bush that we transplanted and some more accent rocks. And this is our white spire birch. Kind of remind us of Colorado. We've planted vinca here. Eventually all this ground cover bark mulch will be covered with vinca. And you don't have to worry about dirt and dogs tracking in. Love this big rock, this moss rock that they had, and I asked them to put it over here, and they did. There's another one down here. There's a holly, which will develop red berries. Very nice around the holidays. And a couple more bushes, which, again, I don't know the name of. And then the grass ends there with the fence that goes behind the bricked-in back of the garage and a lilac. So here we have what it looks like from a distance. And let's take a walk toward the house and around the pond. So this is what we've been enjoying. And eventually these plants will mature and this is going to look quite different. But give it time, I guess. I guess I missed a couple of plants here. Here's another one Cat had transplanted from the front, but again, I don't know what it is. These areas here are called bogs. It doesn't just have a sharp drop off, but rather it's got gravel coming up very shallow. And the birds bathe here. They drink here, they bathe here, they love it. Oh, and here's a little miniature ginkgo that we had in the fairy garden. And you can see the size of it. It is not very big. Just small little ginkgo tree. Almost like a bonsai tree. Moss rock. Nice accent rock by this peninsula. And on this peninsula is one of our specimen trees, accent if you will, which is a Japanese waterfall maple. And as it gets bigger, it'll kind of droop over the rock toward the water. Here we have, I should know these. Maybe you know those. It'll come to me later. But they're very pretty. This one's kind of struggling, but I think it's going to make it. And then here's the log I picked up in Saxon Harbor, Wisconsin. It's about 4 feet long, and it's a nice accent, kind of reminiscent of something you might see in Colorado. And this is, of course, our Chanticleer pear. You'll see it forms little pears, but they're not really pears. They're not really edible. I don't know if you can see those right here. Tiny little fruit. Here's a hydrangea, which we took from a very sunny space into more of a partial shade, and it's doing quite well now. We like that. So I'm back on the other side of the bridge. We have a clematis climbing up here. And you'll see the mound all built up by the waterfall. Our hose is rolled up kind of neatly out of the way there. And there's how the water comes down. Altogether, it probably covers over 30 feet from the time it comes out of the filter falls, under the bridge, and to the skimmer. But there's a quick tour of the pond. Hope you enjoyed that. I love this place. And you'll see little accent steppables here and there. Gradually they'll fill in. And we'll end with a nice little sound of the pond while standing under the umbrella here. Hope you enjoyed it.